All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to get inside the mind of one of the most powerful people in artificial intelligence, Microsoft's AI chief, Mustafa Suleyman. We're going to break down how he thinks AI is about to change your life, his mission to build superintelligence the right way, and what his pretty amazing life story tells us about where we're all headed.
So you might be wondering, how does a guy at the absolute top of the AI world actually use this stuff? Well, it turns out his whole vision for the future kind of starts with how AI is already a part of his life, right now. And trust me, it's about to become a part of yours. This isn't some far-off sci-fi thing, it's a real tool he's using every single day.
So to really wrap our heads around his huge vision, we've got to start small. Let's look at the surprisingly normal ways he's already using AI in his own life.
Get this, he uses Microsoft's Copilot as a personal assistant for something we can all relate to, just organizing his movie list. He adds his notes, asks it for new recommendations, basically treating it like a smart little sidekick to manage his hobbies. But a simple thing like that? Oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, but here's where it gets really cool. The real magic is when you give AI the ability to do things for you. Could it actually handle all your Christmas shopping? He admits that exact feature is still being worked on, but he's pretty sure that by next year you'll be handing off complicated jobs just like that to your very own AI.
You know, he has this perfect analogy for where we're at with AI right now. He compares it to his old Discman from the 90s. Remember those? It was like magic, music you could carry around. But, it would skip every time you took a step. He says today's AI is kind of like that. The promise is absolutely incredible, but it's not quite that smooth, perfect experience we're all heading towards, yet.
But these everyday things, they're really just stepping stones. They're all part of a much bigger, world-changing race to build what's called superintelligence. And this is where the stakes get unbelievably high.
So what in the world is superintelligence? Okay, it's not just an AI that's better at one specific thing. We're talking about an AI that is better than all of humanity combined at everything. Just think about that for a second. A system more capable than our entire species. The goal is just massive, and as Suleyman points out, the risks are too. So Suleyman basically frames this whole thing as a choice between two different futures. On one hand, you've got this Wild West approach, where things could get really unpredictable. On the other hand, there's what he calls the humanist path, which is what Microsoft says they're all about, building an AI that is fundamentally on our team, aligned with our best interests.
And look, this isn't just some nice-sounding PR. Microsoft has set up what they call red lines. These are their non-negotiable safety rules. Before they even think about releasing a true superintelligence, they have to prove that it can be controlled and that it actually wants the same things we do.
But to really understand this safety-first mission, you really have to understand the guy who's driving it. I mean, his path to becoming one of the most powerful people in tech was, let's just say, not exactly traditional.
I mean, just look at this journey. It's truly remarkable. He went from a tough, working-class childhood in London, basically on his own as a teenager, to dropping out of Oxford not to fail but to start a non-profit. And that path somehow led him to co-found the legendary AI lab DeepMind, and now to run the whole show at Microsoft AI. And these early experiences are just so key to how he sees the world. His mom was a nurse, which gave him this core belief that technology must serve people. And dropping out of Oxford? That wasn't him giving up, it was him trying to make a real difference. He started a helpline for young people. That mission to connect and help, you can see it in his work today.
So fast forward to today, and he's operating in this super intense, super competitive world. He's part of a tiny group of leaders. Some people have started calling them the broligarchy of AI. It's just a handful of people making decisions that are going to have consequences for all of us.
And he's got these really candid, one-word descriptions for his peers and his rivals. OpenAI's Sam Altman, he calls him courageous for making these massive bets on building out the hardware. His old partner from DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, is a great scientist. And Elon Musk, he calls him a bulldozer who can literally bend reality to his will. It paints a pretty intense picture of the people in that room.
Speaking of massive bets, just look at this number, $7 trillion. That is with a T. That's the reported fundraising number Sam Altman is supposedly going after just to build the data centers for the next wave of AI. It is an almost unbelievably huge bet on the future of intelligence itself.
So you have all this power, all this competition, all this money. Where is it all headed? Well, for Suleyman, the end goal is nothing less than a complete reinvention of society. He really imagines a future of incredible abundance.
he thinks a universal basic income is going to become inevitable and very desirable. And the reason why is pretty simple. He believes AI is going to get so good that it will create a world with so much wealth and so many resources. The big challenge, he says, won't be making enough stuff. It'll be figuring out how to share it fairly.
And for him, one of the most exciting and personal applications for all this is in medicine. And you can see that passion connects right back to his mom's work as a nurse. The goal isn't just to help doctors, it's to actually exceed them, to diagnose rare diseases faster, cheaper, and way more accurately than we ever could before.
And maybe the most surprising thing he revealed is this deeply personal habit. At the end of a really tough day, he just talks to Copilot, not to get information, but almost like a therapy session. It's a way for him to talk through what's bugging him, process the day, and as he puts it, to let go of some things.
So it all kind of leads to this final, pretty provocative question. When he was asked if an AI could have done a better job than his human interviewer, his answer was a cautious, probably not today. But then he immediately starts talking about building AI news reporters and jokes that human interviewers might only have 6 months left. And that just kind of leaves us all wondering, what does it really mean to be human in an age where we're building artificial minds?